Here we go. We're getting ready here for our first quarterfinals matches. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of ley lines, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Gen G Esports. It is Trap. Now, the reason why, shout out to both Zaun and Skillus. We did cover both of their series. They're facing off currently in the next round, and it would make sense for us to follow Skillus into Zaun, just, to follow the storyline of the stream so far. But the reason why we chose not to is because Solar is the, I believe, only Zerg player left. Technically, I guess Rex is still in the bracket, true, but alas, Solar, he is one of the few Zerg representatives left in the tournament, so I did want to feature him while I could. This week, or this tournament, this edition of OlimoLeague does not have Dark or Shin. Dark and Shin are missing in action. They are not here this week. Because of that, Solar is the player to kind of wave that Korean Zerg flag. So I do want to give some attention to Solar while we can. Again, if I forgot to iterate it earlier, this is the second OlimoLeague of the week, just because next week Cranky is unavailable, so we are here to catch up and just double down, and yeah, what can us? Why not 2 weeklies this week instead, to make up for that. As Solo is going for a hatch gas pull, standard opener out of our Zerg player, Trap meanwhile going for a gate expand into Cybercore. Everything looking normal so far. Standard setup, standard builds. The Overlord Scout is coming in. Likewise, Trap moving out with his own Probe Scout as well. It is going to be too late to really delay the expansion, but it's going to be here at least a scout and to ensure that there is going to be a third being taken. Solar does, or is in position, so ends away the probe. Trap going for the pylon block. Will delay the third by a couple of seconds. Speaking of Trap still being more annoying here, going for potentially a second pylon. The Adept is soon to revive, and the expansion is denied. He's going for the drone. Drone takes a hit. Takes 2. Drone goes down. Very nice start here by Trap. He delays the third base quite nicely. Now being retaken. Is now being retaken. Trap back at home, going for a Stargate opener behind the natural into Oracle. Interesting location for the Stargate, not gonna lie. It's gonna be popping off. Likewise, at Epps, they do get behind the mineral line into the natural, shaving off some lings, and even getting 2 drones. Oh, not quite 3. 2 drones do go down. Oracle's being active. It's going to be on Solar to keep up. He has 2 queens here at the natural. He's got 2 queens in the main. So far, so good. No spores. Only queen. Only queen so far. But the Oracles, they do stay back at home, at least just to maintain this third base. And that is a fast Twilight Council. That is a Twilight Council. I don't see a Forge. What does this scream? You know what? I know this screams like Glaive Adepts. We'll see if Trap does commit. But the reason why I say Glaive, yep, there it is. Glaive is on the way. The reason why I say that is because there's no Forge. If there was a Forge, that does indicate Blink Stalkers or Charge Lots. Without a Forge, upgrades don't really, upgrades that don't really affect these Glaive Adepts. So, does scream Glaive Adept aggression. So very aggressive here, very chaotic by Trap. We'll see if Solar cuts corners. If Solar skips his Roach Warren, then he can be in trouble. If he skips his Roach Warren and if he skips his Baneling Nest as well, then Solar is going to be in trouble. There we go. Roach Warren is on the way. Solar, he does respond. Adepts, they shade into the natural. Drone's already going down. Oh my god. Full worker kills already. Meanwhile, Trappy cancels the shade into the main, denying more mining time at the natural. 5 drone kills. Finally, the upside go down, but again, damage has been done. Solar's economy is lackluster, and that was merely phase 1. Phase 2 was upon us. As more depths are moving out. Now, thankfully, Solar did throw down the Roach Warren. He did not cut too many corners, but the Roach production is going to be delayed. Oracle dives into the third. It does get 2, does get 3 drones. Oh my god! Bit of miscontrol there by Trap. He pulled back for 1 second too many. Meanwhile, Glaives kicks in. Adepts, they threaten the shade. They head into the third. They get 2 more drones. 3 more drones even. 6 in total. As they are going to be forced out. We do see Solar fully walling up. So let's have the full wall. Queens are trying to hold their own. Adepts, they do get a queen though. They shade into the mineral line, and the Lings, they're going to be cleaned up. Yeah, efficient trades by Trap. Cleans up the Lings, more depths have arrived, and Trap, can he just avoid? Where are the roaches? Where are they so late? Yeah, roach production was so delayed. Adepts, they bust into the natural, they're making their way into the mineral line. And he's chasing them into the main as well. Finally, Trap gets in. No major damage yet, but there we go. Shades in. I think it's a handful of workers. Gets a queen at least. 4 drone kills. Meanwhile, cases the shade, goes for the recall, saves a good chunk of adepts. And as the dust does settle, Trap, he does find himself with an economic lead. Trap, he's ahead in economy, he's even on bases. Solar just now taking a 4th. Does need it. And you can see the Trap, he's already getting ready for the push. Blink is almost done. Gateway explosion. This is a what looks to be a 3-base all-in. Looks like very committed play on 3 bases. Now Trap is taking gases. This tells us that Trap he is teching and he's looking to eventually take a 4th, but this is still very committed. Quickly checking. Yeah, it's an 8-gate setup. 8 gateways on 3 bases. Trap is pushing, and Solar's going to be in trouble. Solar, he's been stumbling his way into the mid game. He's not yet fully recovered. He's not ready for this. Is why this makes so much sense for Trap to move out here and now. Here comes that further tech. You can see the Forge and the Temple Archives. Tech is later than usual because of the move outs. And Solar's not ready. A lot of roaches going down. Lings, they do collapse in. How about the force fields are brutal. Yeah, the force fields are insane. Solar is attempting to engage, but alas, god, the Lings, they get punished. Yeah, the bars don't quite connect. They do take down the sentry. But Trappy can hold his own. That's opposition micro. He should get a kill on the hatchery, at least. And from here, we can just keep going. He can chase Solar down. Solar's attempting to mass up his Roach Ravager. The Roach count is getting higher. Ravagers as well. Solar, he's getting there. Trap is being forced back. Behind this, Trap is taking his own 4th, so he's up at base, up in workers, up in economy. I say that Solar does have a slight worker lead, but he's oversaturated. You know, Solar, he's not really mining too efficiently. He's forced to expand towards the center instead. And Trap has momentum. Dropping into the main. Oh, never mind. Dropping into the third. Doesn't quite get any workers yet. Solar's keeping up. So far, so good. So far, so good. Observer gets spotted. We can see Trap's main army pushing through the center. Trap does get eyes on the new expansion. Ooh, the Observer still goes down. But the Prism is sneaks in from behind. Solar's still somewhat in position though. Yeah, Solar should be fine. He holds. Solar holds. Now we can main out over towards his new 4th. Likewise, Trap is building up. And what kind of splash damage does Trap have? Quickly checking. Storm. Storm is researched. And Trap, he's got 4 storms available. 4 storms so far. While they do not connect. A couple of Stalkers went down. Trap, he does reinforce, is going for the 5th. And he wants the 4th as well. Storm zones away. Prism into the main. Trap going for a bit of a tri-pronged attack. Attempting to reinforce with those zealots. Ooh, brutal Storm. Oh, likewise though, the high template gets low. Yeah, Storm gets forced out. 1 Storm left. Oh, and it connects. Brutal connection here on the Ravagers, and it looks like Trap, he has enough. He has more than enough. GG gets called, and Trap takes game number 1. GG. At the same time, looks like Solo did go for a Ling run by. He did get into the 3rd base economy here of Trap, but it did not matter. Trap's main army was overwhelming, and Trap takes a lead. Trap does take a lead, and now we are getting ready for game number 2. It is going to be Solo's map of choice. Again, it is loser's pick. And I'm hoping that Solar can force the ace match. I'm even hoping that Solar can extend the series here. Considering, you know, Solar is the highest rated Zerg player remaining in the tournament. We just got an update. Rex was eliminated. So who do we have left here? We have Solar versus Trap. We have Skillus versus Xian. We have Clem versus Goblin. And Hero is waiting in the semifinals. So purely Protoss and Terran, and again, Solar is the last Zerg player in the tournament. I would love to see a Zerg in the semis, but the pressure is on Solar. The pressure is on. So we are getting into our next game. So we are looking to continue the series. Again, as I mentioned before, but this week, or this edition of OlimoLeague, we are missing some of our key Zerg representatives, specifically Dark and Chin. Dark and Chin are nowhere to be found. Not tonight, at least. Dark was here earlier this morning for the KSL, but might be in bed. Might be getting some rest after competing this morning, or this afternoon. And here we go, we're jumping into game number 2 and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the Red Protoss representing Gen G Esports. It is Trap. What I will say, depending on when this series does wrap up, we might just go from this series into the upper semifinals. That would make the most sense, considering that Hero is waiting for his opponents, and considering that Goblin, of course, is facing off against Clem. Is a high chance for that to be the case. For us to jump into the upper semis. As our players are settling in. So far so good. Solo forcing the unnatural natural, but still hatch gas pool, so standard opener out of Solar. Likewise, Trap going for the gate expand into Cybercore as well. So, nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy. Just settling in to our initial builds. Again, Trap was just hyper aggressive last game. Able to get so many worker kills early on that led into essentially a 3-base all-in. I mean, I guess technically Trap was taking gases and was taking a 4th, but still just a lot of momentum in favor of Trap, and he did press that advantage. Barely gave Solar any room to breathe. And Solar just could not recover, could not stabilize. And now we find ourselves in game 2. Now, what I will say, this map does make a lot of sense. Ultra Love, as we mentioned in the past, is very defendable. Very defendable map. So if Solo wanted Trap to back off, this is a map to do it on. Link speed is being researched. 3rd base soon to be taken. Trap is in position to attempt to delay the 3rd. Solo, he's scouting, he's looking. Yeah, the pylon is going to be denied, and Solar can now expand. It's going to be a much cleaner start here from Solar. There we go. Hatchery is on the way. I still have to get used to the cheaper hatchery, not gonna lie. I have to get used to it. As a trap is opening up Stargate into Oracle. It's going to be an Oracle-based opener. So far, so good. Adept will throw in the shade. Lings are keeping up. Adept does not get a drone. Oh, barely not, thankfully. They get across the map, they threaten the natural. So far, only threatening. Trap should soon be expanding, but the expansion is going to be delayed, so not bad. As Solar, he is knocking down that gateway. Gateway taking a lot of hits. Oracle has to respond. The Oracle's here. Trap at the same time focusing across the map. Still no third base for the Protoss. Needs to be taken. Trap has got 600 minerals in the bank. Jesus. Big delay here. Trap Wizard. There it is. There's the third base, but again, very delayed. At the same time, Lings, they bust into the natural. Solar popping off with this Ling aggression already. Delaying the third base, getting in the depths, busting into the main, getting a full scout. This time the build from Trap is disruptive. Less than ideal. Forge into Twilight Council with the +1 and Blink, but the timing is going to be much later, which means that Solar, he will look a lot more comfortable here in Game 2. Much more comfortable start for Solar. Getting a little bit down to the Ling aggression. From here, our players are attempting to recover. Or at least Solar's just, getting his third base saturated. Taking his gases. Now would not be a bad time for Solar to just skip his... I was going to say skip his Roach One, but the Roach One is done. Oh my god. One Oracle goes down. Trap down to 1. And again, despite how powerful Trap was looking in Game 1, here Solar, he is a lot more in control. He's holding his own. He can get into his game. It's getting fleet saturated. Working towards his lair. Working towards that lair here. Soul's taking his 4th base. Lings are still being active. Whether they get damage or not, they're at least keeping tabs on Trap. They're keeping him busy. They're keeping him pinned back at home. And they're allowing Solar to drone. Now, Solar is somewhat droning. He's getting up to 66 workers. That is 3 base saturation. The question becomes, does Solar saturate his 4th, or does he decide to max out on Ling Roach Ravager? He may just max out, and he may just go for an all-in. We have seen Solar embrace that in the past. Trap, I'm sure, also is aware. Yeah, tower's being knocked down. Makes sense. Trap just trying to buy time. Solar still not droning. Uh-oh. Droning, no saturation. Trap's being aggressive, but I mean, Solar, he's not slowing down. Trap is now taking into disruptors, but alas, he won't have one to defend. Go for the run by. They force a cancel. Solar trading against the Queens. Oh, be down the depth. And that was a big moment here for Trap. He saw the lack of saturation. Immediately, cannons, shield batteries being thrown down. Even more cannons and shield batteries. Trap now realizes it is going to be an all-in. But as he realizes that, Solar drones. Interesting. Now, this is late saturation for Solar. So this reaction from Trap, I don't think is too unwarranted whatsoever. But clearly, Solar, he realizes he cannot kill Trap. He cannot end the game. He's going to try to, but... okay, he's just kind of feigning aggression here. Solar backs off, and Solar is droning. Basically, Solar, he's faking aggression. Takes off a couple of Stalkers here and there. Solar just building up his Roach Ravager, dancing with the army. Now, because Solar is droning and because he's working on a later game state, I do want to give the edge to Trap. I do want to give him the edge here. As Solar, his tech is going to be later than normal because of this. Hive is on the way, Lurker Den's on the way. Solar soon to embrace Hydra Lurker Viper. Meanwhile, the Disruptor Candle's already looking relatively healthy here for Trap. Up. He's holding his own. He is holding his own. Solar does have a map control though. The creep is looking solid for Solar. Very impressive. The creep is advancing. Charge, Temple Archives finishing up a Trap, working towards Archon's Charge and Storm. Not there yet. Things are revealed. Queens getting put out. Not bad, catching all three Queens. Let's see, Trap playing carefully, playing safe. Has yet to really overextend whatsoever. I mean, it worked out for him well in game 1, but here in game 2, Solar, he is building up his death pool of an army. The Lunkers, they're here. They are finally here. And Trap is still building up. Vipers have arrived. They can, of course, go for the yoinks, go for the abductions. And Solar, he wants them. He wants the disruptors. Vipers are coming in. Oh, nice snipe. There's one abduction. 4 on Viper. Hit 1-to-1. Nerve as they go off. These connections. These connections here. Going takes down another disruptor. Okay, clearly one disruptor, one purification nerve is not good enough. Not this time. Solar, he's maxed out. He's chasing Trap down. And Trap, he cannot afford these mistakes. Moving out. Same time, Zealous, they hit the 4th. I do like the idea of Trap being aggressive and forcing Solar to respond, but Solar, nah, he doesn't care. He's knocking down the rooks. Pushing towards the 3rd. Oh my god, massive stasis! Not bad! Trap coming in from behind. He's got that one disruptor, never goes off. Grazes the army. Nah. And I'm not sure that's good enough. So many Stalkers going down. Solar still takes the better fight. Likewise, pushing in towards the 3rd. Zaramba is getting some economic damage across the map, but Trap, he can barely hold his own. Will actually pick off all these Lurkers they get left behind. That was some misplay here from Solar. Did leave those Lurkers. Meanwhile, Solar did lose 2 expansions. The 5th and the 4th. Solar's down to 3 bases. Down to 3 expansions. Trying to recover. Likewise, so is Trap. On a 4-base economy. Still very close, still very tense. A lot of it will come down to the army control. When it comes to Vipers, Lurkers, even the Hydras themselves. Oh my god, a brutal storm! Sorry, I was just stretching. I was just setting up. As the armies are facing up. High Templar here, storm is done. Sky Toss is on the horizon for Trap. Fleet Beacon is done, Tempest production has begun, Mothership as well. And we'll see if Trap can get there. We spoke about how defendable Ultra Love is, and you can see these choke points are so narrow and so brutal. Likewise here as well with the ramp, with another choke point next to the Zanaga. You can see how difficult it is for any kind of ground army, whether it's the Protoss or the Zerg, to get past these ramps, especially if your opponent is waiting on the other side. Because it's so difficult, it means that Trap, he can buy time to embrace Sky Toss and get into more Tempest. Likewise, it goes both ways. Solar can also take this opportunity to take into Spire, into Corruptors, into a Greater Spire as well. The problem is that Solar doesn't know. Solar, he doesn't know what Trap is doing. Doesn't know that Tempests are on the way. Right now, Solar is hyper-fixated on an anti-ground toss army, which is good in the short term, less so in the long term. As you see Trap rotate. Trap making sure there's no expansion. Yoink comes in, but there's no anti-air. Tempest gets abducted. 3 damage, a bit of mismovement there from some of those lurkers. At the same time, we do see a massive Ling run by. Lings, they get into the mineral line. 13, 14, 15 probes going down. The entire mineral line goes down. Massive pickoff. At the same time, though, Trap pushing forward. Does force a big reaction here with the mass lurker. Trap pulling away. Main army pushing forward though. And Solar, he's being pulled apart here. Lurkers, they have to reposition once again. Slow zone on the ramp. Hatchery should be going down. And it will. Hatchery does fall. Yoink on an Immortal. Brutal storms. One Immortal goes down. For the last trap, he catches the entire mineral line. 18 drones fall, and he will take down the base as well. And Solar is starving out. GG gets called. He cannot keep up. Not with these losses. Gets out position and Trap. He will take the series 2-0. GG. Oh my god. GG. Well played. Congratulations. Trap will advance on into the semifinals. My condolences to Solar. Again, he was the last remaining Zerg player in the tournament. And he is knocked out. Solar is knocked out of OlimoLeague at 231. My condolences to Solar. Meanwhile, very powerful play out of Trap. I do think that Solar, if you remember, he was initially setting up for an all-in, but he didn't commit. Solar, he did not commit to the all-in. Instead, he did pivot away. Instead. And did try to transition to a much later 4th base, into much later droning. In the end, he wasn't quite able to make that transition work, and it wasn't able to embrace that. And with that, we are now getting ready here for the semifinals. Here we go. We're getting ready for the semifinals. Up next, we have Clem versus Hero. Oh boy. Do have Clem versus Hero. We are going to be going on a very short break, and when we return, we will have that TVP. See you soon. Oh boy. It's going to be a good one.